Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. 4 topics for this video. 4. Can you believe that? 4. First one. Mr. Witkov, the US Middle East envoy, he's Jewish, but he deals with Ukraine. But he's a Middle East envoy, tells us, after speaking with Putin, that Russia 100% doesn't want to invade Europe. We knew this. So what's the big deal? Well, I suspect Putin promised him something about his group in the Middle East. Therefore, now he comes and says, trust the guy, trust the guy. All right, I told you what these guys are trying to do with Putin. Befriend him, and then in the middle of the night, while they have a little bit of love-making session, they will... That's what they planned. Next one. Germany wants to go to war with Russia. I think Germany is begging Medvedev for a few oreshniks. And Germany has no capability of defending itself. Why? Because they have been under US occupation since 1945. And Germany seizes Russian tanker from Russia's shadow fleet. What does that mean? Do you have the authority to do that? Well, if you have that authority and if you write down that authority for you, maybe the Russians will return the favor. All right. Third one. That's a preparation for a tribunal against the boogeyman, Putin. The European Union, the Council of Europe, puts together a tribunal, like the Nuremberg Tribunal, exactly like that one, to try Putin for probably war crimes against humanity, all those, the usual suspect over there. I wonder who the judges will be. Mr. Bernstein, Goldberg, Kosman, and Markovits or Dershowitz. All right, and the last topic has to do with Putin sabotaging Heathrow Airport in London. Did you know that? Did you know that now everything that happens bad in the world must be because of Putin? If you don't have an erection, if she's not wet enough for you, oh my God, it must be because Putin scared the shit out of you. So these are the 4 topics for today. Let's start with the first one. Something we knew, but hey, these guys point to the boogeyman, so their military-industrial complex makes a kill with, contracts. Here you have it. Russia Today, 22nd of March 2025. Russia 100% doesn't want to invade Europe, Trump envoy. We knew this, but nevertheless. And Mr. Steve Witkov, who is more moral than all of you, or all of us, let me include myself in there. The idea that Moscow would attack NATO is preposterous. Steve Witkov has said, I wonder what this guy was promised for his group and interest. I wonder. By the Russians, obviously, that he comes out and with his clear and beautiful, perfect record of perpetual victim, he comes and say, you know what, I vouch for him, it must be golden. They're like Goldberg, Goldman, Goldschowitz, Goldstein. Russia has no desire to invade. What if he has an urge? Maybe he doesn't have the desire. Russia has no desire to invade other European countries. US envoy, special envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkov, has said, dismissing such fears as preposterous. Now, we have here European countries. We have Russia, which half is in Europe, half is in Asia, not in the Middle East, right? Russia is not in the Middle East. And this is the US, United States of America, envoy for the Middle East. So you understand, what are you doing talking about Ukraine? Is it because Zelensky is one of yours? All right, well, I just wanted to break the news, how these guys here, remember, Witkov is not in Russia to negotiate and discuss our interests as Americans. I refuse, because I'm an idiot, okay? I can be an idiot. Right. I refuse, as an idiot as I am, to believe that. I think he is planted in the Trump administration, in the State Department. Mr. Rubio is just a, he's just a simulation. This guy is the real guy. I'm expecting Mr. Rubio to say, you know what, I quit or fired or something. And Mr. Vitkov stays over there in a corner of the room like they always do. You know, they don't have chutzpah at all. They just stay over there, and then people, who should we appoint? Mr. Vitkov. Yes, you. Thank you very much. Yes, praise Lord. Fuck me, too many Hollywood movies. Made by whom? By Witkowsteins. All right, let's go to the next one. Jesus Christ. Let's see how Germany will get smacked by the Russians. New Voice of Ukraine. These guys are celebrating. Some people want the Europeans to go to war. Who are those people? Well, interests and people behind the interests. Germany seizes tanker from Russia's shadow fleet. This is what's going to happen. The Americans are going to make a phone call to these baboons in Germany and say, sei ruhig, go home, geh nach Hause, right now. And the Germans will say, okay, I'm going. This is what's going to happen. You seize the Russian shadow fleet, and then the Russians are going to, again, drag their cocks at the bottom of the sea and destroy again one of your cables. And then you're going to cry again, it was the Russians, and then you find out it was not the Russians. I think it was the Russians, but you're afraid to say it was the Russians because it's going to show your impotence. What are you going to do? This? All right. Let's see some details here. The German government has seized an oil tanker belonging to Russia's covered shadow fleet, along with its valuable cargo, sending a strong message to Moscow. Der Spiegel reported on March 21st. You understand? The German government decided to take a tough action against a tanker, which is part of the shadow fleet Russia uses to continue selling oil worldwide despite existing sanctions. Are those sanctions legal or illegal, fucking Germans? Customs authorities seized the Eventine, which has been anchored off the coast of Rügen since mid-January, Spiegel reported. I have a question for this German government. Who blew up your pipeline? Are you going to seize the Americans' oil tankers or liquefied natural gas tankers? I'm not saying the United States did it. I'm not saying at all. But hey, don't you think you should find out who the perpetrator is? Or not find out, because we all know. Just say it out loud. The emperor has no clothes. You wouldn't dare. So I don't know who exactly is behind this tanker seizing over there of the Russians, but the German people are not better off with these baboons in charge. All right. And who is the initiator? Are the Russians or the Germans? Not the Germans, the traitors in charge of Germany, I would say. Next one. Ukrainska Pravda. Preparation for tribunal against Putin under Council of Europe completed. And he's like, Jesus Christ, these guys are baboons. The group of states, core group, the important states that is, working on the establishment of a special tribunal for the crime of aggression against Ukraine, has finalized the technical and legal documents required to launch it under the Council of Europe. Now, so they say that crime of aggression against Ukraine. Will they prosecute people who were involved in the overthrow of a legitimate democratically elected government of Ukraine in 2014? Like, I don't know, Victoria Nuland, some people from CIA, some people from covert operations. Will they do it? Will they go back and they will try to get Bill Clinton or, I don't know, Madeleine Albright, resurrect her and put her on trial because of the bombardment of Yugoslavia? What about Saddam Hussein, based on lies? Will they do that? Will they take, and I'm not going to go too much back in time, but I will start with George W. Bush. Will they go to, no, I will start with Clinton, it was before. Clinton, will they put him on trial? Oh, okay, will they put George W. Bush, the garbage? Will they put their Secretary of States? Will they put Hillary Clinton? Will they put Barack Obama? Will they put this imbecile, semi-conscious Biden? Will they put those first? When they're going to do that, then chronologically they get to Putin, okay? So that's why when I hear these kind of things, it's like, these guys are just criminals. That's what I think they are. Because it's not incompetence. It is evil. They do it, they know what they're doing. Now, you want to punish this guy? Why don't you go back and check your guys first? And then, you gain some credibility, at least for me. And first, how are you going to implement this? Are you going to go and get Putin or something? Putin is talking to Trump. You guys are irrelevant. You understand? That's their problem. They are, as I said, they live in Europe lives in a simulation. They're in a simulation and the real world is out there. But they're not in the out there. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're doing this, we're doing it. In their own little cockpit, in the simulator. That's what they are. The real world is out there. Get them, put them in a real cockpit, let them take off if they know how to take off, and go and fight. They're not. No. They're in their little coffee latte environment. That's where Europeans are. But they want you to get in a real cockpit and go and fight. They're over there with Maria Callas and other baboons telling you, Starmer and Macron and Scholz telling you to go and fight the Russians, and they're going to be far, far away in their bunkers. Why would you do this? For them. No, you're not doing it for that. You do it for your values, for your way of life, for your traditions that the same guys want to destroy it by, bringing people in, promoting all kind of perverted ideologies, snipping and all that. But hey, now you're defending your rights. Give me a weapon and I'm going to come and defend my rights. All right, and let's see what's going on here. When something happens to you, it must be because of that boogeyman right there. United Kingdom authorities probing possible Putin sabotage after Heathrow airport fire. This is again. Come again? What's that? Okay. Now, if this would be reversed, you know how these guys will say, let's say Russia has something in Moscow airport, a fire, and they would say, well, let's see if this is because of the Germans or the French or the Brits, the Hydra. Or now I gave the United Kingdom, I gave them the name of opossum. They are like opossum. The Western Europe, and in this case I use the Brits, they're opossum. You know that animal that looks, and he's harmless. That's exactly what this guy's simulator. Remember? So let's say the Russians will say, well, I think it was the secret services of whatever, military intelligence, blah, blah, blah. They did this fire in Moscow airport. You know how that will be labeled here in the free world? Conspiracy theory. But here, no. It's possible that Putin did it. It's possible. But use the same logic. And so this alternate hypothesis in investigating or allowing others to think the same way. I mean, if that logic works for you, then homie, you know what I mean? So here it is. If you tomorrow, you have a problem at work, it's because of this. If you have a flat tire, it's because of Putin. If it rains, it's because of Putin. If it's sunny, it's because of who knows what. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.